So, media studies covers a wide variety of topics, and while we likely won't get to it all today, I think some of the major components are the ways in which economic, political, and technological factors influence the production, delivery, and consumption of media. I think especially the 20th century, you got to talk a lot about the studio system. Talked about Edison already a little bit, but he definitely had a huge influence on the ways that early film was produced in the United States. Um, so I guess how do you like what are some of the fields and disciplines that you touch on when we talk about media studies? Maybe some of the main themes, that you again, that you're bringing to kids who may or may not, pursue this further, and are likely hearing about it for the first time.
Yeah, so that is also part of the challenge is that, history itself is really complex. There are so many ways that we can tell similar stories if you focus on one element or another. And getting all of that in a way that's kind of not overwhelming and is comprehensible to students. So I would say that one thing that I do try to emphasize from the beginning is like these multiple intertwined factors that like film and media history is, it is industrial history. It is like in many ways it's business history. There's a lot more business going into this than they might have expected. Uh, a lot of it is the history of like the evolutions in technology. But I also really try to emphasize a lot how like film and media history is cultural history. So we're talking about things like the progressive era. We're talking about things like the resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan. We're talking about the Cold War, obviously. Um, but one of the things I really get them to think about, or try to get them to think about, is how those different forces are all go together, and you kind of can't pull any one of them apart. So the developments in technology are influenced by like what do audiences want, that drives you to try to find a way to create forms of sound film, for example, or ways that as just one example. So it's not just business, it's not just technology. Those are really strongly influenced by larger cultural factors in ways that are hard to understand if we don't have that bigger context for them.
You just heard a clip from the most recent episode of the History on Film podcast. For more of this episode and access to all our episodes, search for the History on Film podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel here on YouTube. Thanks for listening.